Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my talk. I am Ridade, R-I-D-A-D-E, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a Circassian, and there's a whole talk about it who has uploaded it here for us, and in addition to, you've all made it tonight, you all look absolutely fabulous in your beautiful suits, dresses, a wonderful area of accessories. Each and every one of you placed tremendous effort, and I sincerely hope we get to be photographed tonight. Thank you. Sorry, am I too early to start, or am I on time?
No, you're bang on time.
All right, which is quite a miracle for Ridade. So
what is the miracle? Live.
And on time. So this dance is called Setene, and Setene is a Circassian mythological mother figure, and she's also a goddess. She represents the embodiment of a mother in terms of a loving mother figure, a dedicated, warm, loving energy field of maternal energy. And this is a beautiful composition by my first Circassian dance teacher. Jean Cut is his name, whom I'll be talking about shortly. And with him are other wonderful musicians, of whose names I'm sorry I cannot obtain. I did ask, I have tried to obtain information about them, as it has been composed over 12 years ago, so I'm hoping to obtain their names another time. And the song, sorry, my words today. The composition is by a group called Badin, B-A-D-I-N, Badin. And they are all Circassian, save for one chap. He's half Circassian, half Turk, but he had always had an immense interest in Circassian culture ever since he was a child. And he has dedicated many years of his life learning Circassian dances, and Circassian music. So everyone in the Circassian Community Center in Turkey are always very warm and welcoming to him. I shall now begin the dance. Absau. And Tammar Absau means, may the God that is in charge grant you prosperity, health, and happiness for your entire life. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I shall begin my ever so slightly controversial talk.
You've been warned, people.
Dun 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 dun. Allow me to disappoint you and enthrall you. Per usual. For such is life, we have aspects of beauty such as my motherland. It looks so beautiful, but my God, trying to scale those mountains is a very, very arduous task. It's beautiful and it has varied seasons. The best time to visit is springtime. It's beautiful. You have an area of flowers blossoming everywhere. It is one of the world's most beautiful places, in my opinion, but it isn't completely safe yet, unfortunately. It is getting better, but by the time it reaches that heightened state of safety, heaven knows how long that would take. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I wish it would. So that's my greeting in Circassian, with a sapsh, meaning welcome in Circassian. So as I explained earlier on, the music is from a Circassian group called Badin, Jankat Devrim, a Circassian man born and bred in Turkey, but was brought up as a Circassian. And Rahmi Lale, my half-Turkish, half-Circassian friend, are amongst the names of the musicians in the group. Jankat was one of my Circassian language teachers, in addition to being my first dance teacher. I first started learning ballet when I was 9 years of age, and then at the age of 9 and a half, I'm standing backstage, and I see these Circassian dancers in their beautiful Circassian outfits, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm wearing this gypsy crop top and gypsy skirt. And in my 10-year-old head, I'm thinking, 9 and a half to 10-year-old head, I'm thinking, I want to join them, quite frankly. And you know what? I think I will. So a few weeks after that, I said, I'm joining your group. And I did. I'm so glad I did. So there are 3 Circassian dance groups. I'm told there's a 4th one now. I don't know what their name is. I don't have much information about them. But I was in all 3 across different times. I danced 9 to 12 hours a week, most weeks of the year, for 10 years. And the 10th year, I felt like doing something different, like contemporary dance. So I did branch out into contemporary dance when I arrived in the UK. So Jankat taught jewellery making in accordance to traditional Circassian jewellery making methods. He also taught dancing and singing, he himself being a professional Circassian male dancer. And he also taught the Circassian way of life and high manners. Circassians call high manners, or the Circassian way of life, khabze. The Tsar Nikolai used to send some of his children to Circassian noble classes to teach his children high manners, because apparently it was lacking in Russian aristocratic families. So I'm told. I'm not sure how accurate that story is. So I'm keeping my benefit of the doubt active in there. So Circassian khabze is based on maintaining purity of intentions, having childlike but not childish behavior, amongst other principles. He once praised me for being the best in my class regarding my posture and manners. He used to teach us how to sit and how to stand up and how to speak in a way where you're deemed elegant. Because if you did not speak in an elegant manner, he would tell you off. This was in a Circassian community school in Jordan. The school was named after His Royal Highness Prince Hamza. The Prince Hamza Circassian Community School Women's Branch is the long title, the actual title of the school. Because the reason why it's called Women's Branch is because, I already said that repeatedly, pardon me, the ladies in charge were always actively involved in the way the school was managed. I don't remember seeing men attending their meetings. Nothing against men, by the way, just so you know. But what was really strange is that I always asked my school teachers, why is it called after a prince who very rarely visited us? Quite frankly, I do not know why, for the life of me, as to why oh why, did they name the school after him, as with all due respect to him, we very rarely saw him. Whereas his brother, His Royal Highness Prince Ali, was far more interested in Circassian than His Royal Highness Prince Hamza. Prince Ali once shared with me some of his observations about Arabs. He was a teenager at the time. He felt very comfortable to be amongst us. Back in the 90s, when he was a teenager, he was a very comfortable person to be with. He could talk to you about anything without judging, without causing you to feel, am I supposed to talk to him in a formal manner? He never had that aura about him. He used to come in wearing denim trousers, a cotton t-shirt, and say hi. And his security guards would be like, is this how he's meant to act? And he'd tell them, it's all right, you can wait in the car. I'm just going to chat to these Circassians. And he was a very lovely person to be with. He once traveled to the Caucasus with a group of Circassian men to discover what the Caucasus looked like. So regarding Jean-Cut Devrim's Circassian craftsmanship, enclosed is a selection of his work. He still teaches jewellery making and also making Circassian accessories in the capital city of Turkey, which is Ankara. And he still dances as and when he can. His family were always kind to me and to the rest of my family members. So this is an example of his work. This is sterling silver. And so are these beautiful embellishments, which is to be used on a man's belt. And what I love are these Circassian motifs on either side of the belt. I'm not sure if this is a horse's harness, because it's a zoomed-in image, and I couldn't reach him to ask him as to what it is, so I'm hoping he sees my messages at some point. But what I love is the intricate, detailed work, and the fact that it is heart-shaped is even more beautiful in my opinion. Here are some more examples of his work. These are close-up images of the edges of, I'm guessing that's a sword, but that is definitely a dagger. These are Circassian forms of weapons, so he knows how to make traditional Circassian weapons in the traditional manner. And these tiny little spheres, which he fashions himself, each takes a while to fashion in an even size, and then comes doing some very gentle form of, I don't know if the technical term is welding it into the handle of the dagger. So it's a very meticulous work. It requires a lot of time, a lot of patience. Again, they're both made out of sterling silver. And this is also other images about what he does. Now, the reason why I kept this image here, Circassian daggers, they are called qama in Circassian, qama. And they have grooves in the center, so it's easy to penetrate someone whilst in a conflict or in a military conflict. Not a dainty piece of history, but there we have it. That's part of the Circassian culture. A child, age 7, male or female, is given a dagger. And if they misbehave, they take the dagger away from the child and they make the child work hard. So they clean the floors, using their hands, of course, very hard labor work to teach them a lesson so as not to behave badly with a dagger. So these are also more examples of his work, all done by hand, and of course with some usage of some machinery, because it makes do for easier in my life. This is his atelier in Turkey. That's him there. And these are some of his assistants who help him. And this atelier is based in Ankara, the capital city of Turkey. That's him dancing with one of his Circassian friends. Everyone would congregate if he's, let's say, teaching someone how to dance, and they'd all watch him with awe, because he danced with feeling, with love. He enjoyed dancing, and he still does. Hideous and theatrics. So if someone was acting like...
Today I'm going to teach you some very...
And I said to him, never act like that in front of your teacher. And he said, I'm very tempted. Bless. So, Jean-Cat had a wonderful manner about him. He always stood upright, and whenever he'd be seated in a room and a female would walk in, whether an adult, a teenager, stand up for them, and he'd let them in the room. And if he sees that the seats are taken, he'd offer his seat to any female that has arrived and hasn't got a seat of her own. I being amongst them, bless him, he always showed me and all the other female figures in his life a lot of respect. And he also showed male figures respect as well. But he'd always stand up for females more than males. And in Circassian, I'm thanking him if he ever happens to watch this. Tamil Absar, meaning thank you in Circassian, which I said earlier on. And I want to wish him and his goddess, his dear wife, and his 2 daughters the best in life. They're wonderful people, very, very warm, with a pleasant disposition about them.